I was introduced as an esteemed board member. I think I could only say the comparable board member is next. Javad Ghazali, my good friend.
I will have more to say about Bradley Whitford later when we give him an award. I just want to say that we have Brad here today because of his support and everything he wants to do in the future to get our message out about immigration. And he's going to be presenting our next few awards. So everybody, Bradley Whitford.
Hi everybody, it's great to be in this room. I'm not a lawyer, but I played one on TV. I'm excited to meet Brittany Pettersen and honored to be able to give her the next Maggio award. Representative Pettersen has emerged as a powerful voice for both parental and immigrant rights. Earlier this year, she made headlines for leading a bipartisan push to allow members of Congress on parental leave to vote by proxy. Under his eye. No, I'm kidding. Following the now iconic moment, which I saw when she cast a vote while holding her newborn. In addition to her advocacy for families, Representative Pettersen is a steadfast champion of immigrant communities. Her office actively provides Know Your Rights materials to immigrant constituents, continues to advocate for a more humane, efficient, and fair immigration system, including efforts to secure increased funding for work permits and visa processing. It is my honor to present the Maggio Award to Representative Pettersen for her working in the fight for immigrant families.
And we got the baby too.
Sam's gonna have so many stories when he's older. He is still sleeping, so that's good. He needs a lot more attention these days. Hi everybody, my name is Brittany Pettersen. I'm so excited to be here today with you. And that was quite surreal to be introduced by Bradley Whitford. That is amazing. Can we all thank him for the work he does every day? You know, when I was younger, I watched The West Wing during the Bush administration. And it was an alternative universe where government worked, where Democrats were in charge. I had no idea how much worse it was going to get. But my husband's going to be very jealous I got to meet you. So thank you. It's an honor to be with all of you, to the lawyers who are dedicating, volunteering your time to support the people who are most in need right now. Thank you. You are the true champions and superheroes right now. We can give them all a round of applause. You know, this is an issue that it doesn't make any sense at all. Not only is it immoral, the ways in which the Republicans have demonized our immigrant community, have portrayed all immigrants as being violent criminals. And I think that Trump still doesn't understand what asylum seekers mean. He thinks that they're in an asylum. So maybe we should clear that up for him. But the rhetoric at the top, it is going back, it brings out the worst parts of us as human beings, that tribal nature, that you look different than me and therefore you must be bad. And we know that our immigrants are absolutely essential to our economy. So not only is it immoral what he's doing, the immigrants in our community are fulfilling jobs that we can't fill. Right now in Colorado, we have 2 job openings for every person who's looking. When I travel throughout the rural parts of my district, I hear all the time how businesses are at the brink of closing because they cannot fill these positions. And instead of us coming together to address these workforce needs and coming up with common sense policies around immigration reform. Instead, we're demonizing and terrorizing communities. I have some stats here. My team's amazing. They always write remarks for me that I never end up reading, but we know that immigrants pay taxes. In Colorado alone, they've paid $7.7 billion in taxes and held more than $21 billion in spending power, but without the benefits. And right now, Trump is threatening Colorado because the very limited federal funding that we provide through the CHIPS program is for pregnant immigrant women and kids who are in need. And so I don't know what the next budget looks like and how the legislature is going to address this, but we have to stand up for our immigrant families. I'm on the Financial Services Committee, and when I meet with the leading CEOs of the country, the Fortune 500 companies, they say, we were worried about inflation. It was, we went through the global pandemic, we had a fallout here in the United States, we had to infuse money to keep our businesses and our economy afloat. And there were also the repercussions of that of inflation, but we had the quickest, strongest recovery in the world, and we did a really bad job of communicating that as Democrats. But when I talked to the leading CEOs of the United States during this time, when we're really worried about rising costs, they say continuously the number one thing that you can do to address rising costs is immigration reform and providing legal pathways for people to work here. So we know that economically it makes sense. We know that there's a problem with our asylum process, that we need to invest in our judicial systems so that we can quickly respond to people, not leaving them hanging for years. We need to treat everybody who shows up at our borders humanely. This came from after World War II, when we reflected as a country to say, after turning away boats full of Jews to their death, we said we're going to do better in the United States. And anyone who shows up at our shores is going to get a fair process. And so while we need to hold that, we also need legal pathways for people to apply regionally to draw it off the border, because everybody is showing up at the border, whether that is asylum seekers or people looking to build a better life and a better future for their families. And so this is one where I look forward to working alongside you on building a legislative agenda. I think that far too often, we're pointing at what is wrong with their proposal, but as Democrats, we need to do such a better job at showing what we're going to fight for, right? So we did have some bipartisan bills, but I think that we need to be loud about not just what is happening right now and that what's immoral. It is very worrisome when they are defying Supreme Court orders, when they are not listening to our court system, our judicial system, the only backstop that we have left, and that people are being sent to gulags in other countries. It is truly unprecedented, and I know that you are all with me, that it keeps you up at night. And so I want you to know that I am in this fight with you. It is not just the right thing to do. It is good for people in Colorado, their lives, our economy, and we need to really get better at talking about that. Even if you can't get people on why it's the right thing to do, immigrants are essential for our future and our economic needs. So I am so sorry for what you're all being forced to do and face. When I read some updates from my team member who recently went to an immigration update about a woman who is 7 months pregnant, who is stuck in ICE, she wants to be deported, and they're just holding her there. I can only imagine what she's going through, and it breaks my heart to hear these stories. We need to put faces to these numbers. We need to tell their stories, but we also have to fight for change, and I know you're doing that every day. So thank you for this honor. Thank you for having me. And Bradley, thank you so much. It is so fun to be here with you. Thank you, everybody.